Good morning Year 6 and welcome to Wednesday morning writing lesson. Today we're going to be carrying on with our newspaper reports, but before we go there we're just going to do another shout out for some amazing writing in Year 6. So let's take a look. So the shout out today goes to Alfie G and Lexi J for their editing skills. Both children have shown they can edit by choosing more effective and ambitious language. However, I will point out that all the work we have seen in Year 6 has been of a really high quality this last week, and it was really hard to choose. Nevertheless, let's say a huge well done to Alfie and Lexi and give them 2 class dojos for aspiration. Okay, on to your starter task, where we are going to be practicing using punctuation for parenthesis. I'm going to read out 3 sentences that haven't been punctuated correctly, and I want you to think about: what is parenthesis? What does parenthesis mean? What punctuation can you use for parenthesis? And can you identify where the punctuation is needed? Yesterday at around 8 p.m, our sources revealed that Herod Sell, one of the country's leading businessmen, will be donating thousands of computers across the country. These computers, known as Stormbreakers, are believed to have a black casing, black keyboard and lightning bolt design on the side. Sell Stormbreakers, which have been described as revolutionary, use something known as a round processor. Okay, over to you then, guys. Pause the video now, rewrite these 3 sentences and include the missing punctuation for parenthesis. Okay, now time to check. Wow, parenthesis means a word or phrase inserted as an explanation or extra detail into a sentence that is grammatically correct without it. In other words, a main clause. So if you take out your parenthesis, the rest of the sentence should make sense. As well as that, there are 3 forms of punctuation for parenthesis. You can use pairs of commas, pairs of dashes and pairs of brackets. So as you can see, the first sentence, yesterday at around 8 p.m. So we have used commas for the parenthesis at around 8 p.m. If we take out at around 8 p.m, the sentence should still make sense. Yesterday, our sources revealed. Yes, it makes sense. Then the next punctuation parenthesis, we can see they have used brackets. Herod Sale, brackets, one of the country's leading businessmen. Again, we could take that out of the sentence and it would still make sense. Herod Sale will be donating thousands of computers across the country. Yeah. And then moving on, these computers, dash, known as Stormbreakers, dash. So let's take out that again. These computers are believed, so we know that that works. And then finally, let's go all the way down to the last sentence. Sale Stormbreakers, comma, which have been described as revolutionary. So we've got more parenthesis there and commas around it. Again, the clue with that one is we've got a relative pronoun to start off the relative clause. But if we take that away, Sale Stormbreakers use something known as a round processor. It still makes sense perfectly without the parenthesis. Now, parenthesis, you can choose to use commas, dashes or brackets depending on the writing. However, dashes are regarded as less formal. But well done for having a go. Right, today we need to get a bit creative because we are going to be writing effective headlines. Now remember, the word effective means successful in the intended effect. And the intended effect is we want people to read the article. So it's a way to get people in, to draw readers in. And this is because 80% of readers will take the time to read your headline. However, only 20% of those individuals are going to move on to the body, the main body of your content. So if the headline does not interest them, they're off. They won't read the rest of the report. Okay, our key vocabulary today is all about how we are going to create that effective headline. So we're going to try to, with our language choices, grab the reader's attention. We're going to be looking today at using wordplay, at using puns, at using rhyming and alliteration. So let's have a look at the different literary or the different writing techniques that can be used. Okay, so we know that headlines are really important because they draw the reader in, and if they're really engaging, then the reader is more likely to read the rest of the story. But it's not their only purpose. Headlines also have got to give a general gist of the story. Okay, now in the media industry, people say that headlines have 2 jobs: to tell the story and to sell the story. Okay, and you can see that we've got some examples here which are starting to already show you some different types of writing techniques. Breath of fresh air, soda band goes flat, and Waffle House pancaked. Right, let's have a look. Now, the first type of writing technique that you can use to write effective headlines is something that we call a pun. Right, now a pun is a joke by exploiting different possible meanings of a word, and it's a very, very popular headline technique. So words that have similar sounds but have double meaning. So if we have a look at the word blubber, well, blubber is the fat of a whale. Now we know the story is about a whale, but we also associate Celebrity Big Blubber with Celebrity Big Brother, which is a really popular reality TV show. Okay, Clegg, obviously you might not have heard of Clegg, but Clegg was the Liberal Democrats leader a few years ago, and obviously we know it's the wordplay, we're linking it to egg. And finally, Iraq and a hard place. Well, Iraq and a hard place comes from the expression a rock in a hard place, which means when you're in a difficult situation. Some headlines also use letterplay or wordplay. And this is where you can add or omit or take out a certain letter. So an example of that you can see here, a message from 10 Downing Street. Obviously the link there, the wordplay, the letterplay, is they've put in the R for drowning when it should be Downing Street. And wordplay and letterplay is often done because it creates humour. Okay. Headlines also use rhyming, which is really effective because they are easier to remember and they roll off the tongue a lot better. Lucky ducky, owl on the prowl, no sweat and no regret. And finally, questions help to engage readers by drawing them in, and alliteration can help draw readers' attention to certain words and also creates a nice rhythm to read. Okay, so let's have a go. Let's practice at creating a headline for this current story. I know you will recognise Stormzy.
Stormzy, good to see you.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Can I say first up, those slippers are magnificent.
No, I forgot. No, I actually forgot. Like, I'm an idiot. I forgot. I'm
What for your shoe?
Yeah, which sounds like we've been doing signings. I did a signing in Bristol. We got a signing tonight, but I just stay in my slippers and then I got in the car and was like,
Okay,
it's the kind of my trainers.
So we've just heard that current story. Stormzy appears on BBC Breakfast wearing his slippers. Okay, so now is your chance to have a little bit of a practice, a little bit of a play with words. So let's have a look at our steps of success for creating an effective headline. Try and keep your headline short and snappy. The rule is no more than 7 words. Try and use a literary feature. So one of the features that we talked about before. So it could be you could use a pun, you could use wordplay or letterplay, you could use alliteration, you could use rhyming, or you could use a question. Okay, and make sure that your headline gives the general gist of the story. So just have a little bit of a play and see what you come up with. I'd love to see what you get. Okay, so pause the video now and have a go. Right, time to share with you some of mine. Now, I recognise that some of mine aren't particularly good, but I had a little bit of a play. So, best grime artist chilling. Stormzy, just the boy next door. Wrap up your feet, Stormzy. I tried to do a bit of a play on words there with the wrap. Wrap feels at home. Obviously, we all wear our slippers when we're at home. Dressing gown next, Stormzy. I think that was actually my favourite one. I think that's the most effective. It gives the general gist of a story, and it's a question, so it does really engage the reader as well. Okay, moving on to your turn now. So your task today is to write an effective headline for the story Stormbreaker. Now, I had a little bit of a go. You might recognise this. I had to go at this one. Set sail to schools, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what I've done. So first of all, by saying set sail schools, I am using alliteration. You can see I've started my words with the letter S, but I've also done a little bit of wordplay here, because rather than saying sail, like you sail a boat, I've used his name, sail. Okay, let's have a look at your chili challenges. So, for one chili, can you have a go at writing 5 headlines? Really short, snappy headlines, again using that rule, no more than 7 words. Try to use at least 2 of the different writing techniques, the literary effects. And can you write a sentence explaining which is the most effective, which is your favourite and why? Chili 2, can you create a series of effective headlines using a range of the different literary effects? Can you see if you could use a pun and alliteration and a question, for example, and can you justify your chosen one to use? And 3, chili, can you have a go at doing 2 chili, but then can you also, for a little bit of an extra, can you challenge yourself to have a go at reading your headline out in the style of a TV news reporter and have a go at recording yourself? And that would be really, really good for you to send in as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and we look forward to receiving all this work and those short videos as well, if you can send it in to year6@franchprimary.works.uk. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys.